Hello and welcome to Manifestation for Realists. Promise you there is no incense, no beads, no chanting, no spirit animals at all. So here's what manifestation usually means. You dream about the future, you want it really hard enough, and the universe hands it over, right? There's that famous book by an Australian woman, sold like a gazillion copies, and she manifested a lot of money for herself. I'm less sure about everybody who bought the book. But here's the thing, some of it works. Write down what you want, works. Dress and act the part, works. Speak your desire out loud, works. Just not for the reasons they tell you. So, the universe isn't listening. Probably. I mean, who knows what's going on out there? Not my department today. For the next 10 minutes, we assume nothing mystical is listening. And yet it still works because three things are listening. And unlike the universe, these three things take instructions. The first one is your attention. The first listener is your own attention. You know this already. You buy a red car, suddenly the roads are full of red cars. They were always there. You just weren't looking. And so one way of thinking about this is that your attention is a search engine. Vague search gives you vague results. I want to be happier. I want to be more successful. What does your brain do with that? Nothing. There's nothing precise enough to look for. I want to be richer. We all want to be richer. Still nothing. But I want to find a technical co-founder in London. Now your brain has something to hunt. And you're at a barbecue, half listening to a conversation, and something in you goes, hang on, do you know anybody who ... That's not the universe. That's a filter that you set. And here's how much we filter. Right now, ask yourself, what temperature is your lower back? I mean, is it warm or is it cold? You know now, don't you? That information was available to you the whole time. You were just filtering it out. So be precise. That is the whole trick. Vague desires manifest nothing. Here's a real example for myself. Relatively recently, I'm looking for clients all of the time. And so I made a very precise list of the kinds of people that I was looking for. And then I was at an event and my ears pricked up because somebody I was talking to mentioned their husband. Their husband works in exactly the kind of industry that I decided I was looking for. I said, do you think he might need some help with X and Y? And guess what? He did. It led to a conversation. So that's how it actually works in practice. So the next thing we need to think about is burning your goals, right? Now, this sounds like real woo-woo. It sounds like exactly the kind of thing I promised you wouldn't get here. But hear me out. Write your goals down, write it precisely, and then burn it. Honestly, please stay with me. When you do this, two things happen. First, you had to make it precise to write it down. And so after you've refined it a little bit, that work is done. But secondly, the burning it says to you yourself, it says, I've chosen. I'm not refining this anymore. Not maybe I'll change it on Tuesday. You've chosen. You've chosen a door. You've moved through it. It's a threshold. There's before you decided to take a course of action and after. And so this is the part that is really important that you hear as well, related to this. You are allowed to know that all of this is theatre, right? I trained in clinical research, and when you do that, you do governance training, ethics training, and all of that. And one of the things that they teach you is that the placebo effect is real, and we learn about it in detail. In fact, you can go onto Amazon and other websites, and you can buy placebo pills, not sugar. It's just sugar, nothing in them, but it says on the packet placebo. But the magic is you can take one of those knowing it's a placebo, knowing it's a sugar pill that you bought off the internet, and you say to yourself, this is to make me feel better. There's a decent chance that it works. Amazing, isn't it? My favorite example of this, you never get this past an ethics committee now. Back in the 50s, I think, there was a surgeon in America treating chronic back pain. And what he did for a while was he put people under, actually opened them up, created a scar, waited around, didn't do anything, stitches them back up, and most of the people reported a major improvement in their symptoms. So no, I don't need you to believe a piece of paper sends a message anywhere. Just burn it anyway, knowing it's a ritual. It doesn't switch it off. It still works. So the second listener, if you like, is your sense of who you are. Every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. And so here's a real example, again, from my life. So, like every good coach and business leader, I set myself goals. And every now and again, I update them. And one of the practices I like to do is to spend time imagining a vision of the future. One of the tools I use is a vision board. Glance right here, it's here. Set of images that describe to me, reflect to me the future that I'm aiming for, the success that I'm looking for in about 3 years' time. There's a couple of things in that image that I'm just going to draw out. One of them, there's a picture of 4 guys playing golf, right? Together. Now, I like golf, haven't made a lot of time for doing it in the last 20 years or so. More recently, I've wanted to. But also, there is a load of images that essentially reflect a way of being. And they are a man at ease with himself, successful, working, doing good things, creating stuff, still building, but at ease with himself. A few weeks ago, I was playing golf. Because one of the things I do with this is I say to myself, okay, how much of that can I bring from the future into the present? So I'm saying yes to playing golf more often. Find myself on the course at around about 5:30. I'm already 4 holes in, and I'm not playing well. I'm not present. I'm kind of thinking, oh, I'm feeling a bit guilty because I rushed to get there, and maybe I should have done a bit more work. What have I got to do tomorrow? And so on and so on. And then this amazing thing happened. I was walking, I think, from the 4th green to the 5th tee, and my brain went, this is the future you wanted. And I realized in a fraction of a second, I was actually living the life that I chose. I just wasn't paying attention to it. And so I slowed everything down. I looked around. I enjoyed the view. I enjoyed where I was. I slowed my mind. I slowed my body. I took it in. I thought, wow, this is amazing. I'm actually doing the thing that I wanted to do. And it's only 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I have the privilege to do this. Guess what happened next? Of course, I played the best round I've played in like 40 years. And 40 years, I'm not that old. In like 30 years, though, genuinely. And I really, really enjoyed it. But that kind of doesn't really matter. The point was, I was living the life that I spent time imagining I wanted. And so this is how this kind of stuff really works. When I first of all created the vision of the future, I gave my brain something to look for. And I managed to bring that future into the present. So is there a version of this that you can use? One of the things I like to tell people to do is just do what I did on the golf course. Take 10% off the pace that you walk. Slow yourself down. That makes it a little bit easier to slow down your thoughts, slow down your presence, and access a bit more of the world and the life that you really, really want. Because when I picture the person who's done the things I want to do, just to remind you, I'm at ease with myself. But I can't wait for that. Why would I wait for that? Why not reverse engineer it? If I move 10% slower, it's a vote for that person who I want to be. Here's a newer thing that I've started to do in the wall. Every morning I ask my future self, what would you have me do today? But because I'm asking a future version of myself, I get different answers. So I'm not asking the past me. I'm not asking even the present me, who have all of the reasons why I can't. Future me knows that I've achieved all of these goals that I want to do. So he has a much better idea of what's important, what got him there, what decisions he made. Did he take a break or did he push through? What did he do? Future me has a much better idea. Here's a real example. I don't really enjoy generating leads most of the time. I never have. But clients are a lagging indicator of the work that I did months ago. So future me needs today me to spend half an hour on it. Doing this right now is a very real example of that. When I frame it that way, it's easy. It's much, much easier than doing it any other way. And of course, if my success is a lagging indicator of the work that I do today, I am, in a sense, manifesting the future that I want. The third listener is other people. Nobody can send you the opportunity that they don't know you want. Introductions, resources, advice, clients, collaborators. If you don't say it, they can't help. That's not mystical. It's just information. It isn't the universe that conspires to help you. It's your network. So tell 3 people what it is precisely that you're looking for. 3 people as a minimum. One warning. I've decided to do this exciting new thing and I'd love your support. That gets you questions that you can't answer yet. And yet those questions might dent your confidence. That's different from, I'm looking for X. Do you know anyone? It's specific, it's answerable, and it's kind of hard to criticize as well. You also need to pick who. Not always friends and family. Often it's further out in your network. People with reach, not just goodwill. So, do the thing, make specific requests of the room, and then name what it is that you're doing. Keep talking to yourself about it. Now, another warning. One thing stops working if you don't do this well, and that's your own motivation. Purely positive visualization doesn't work. Like a lot of people in sport, for example, they imagine breaking the tape, winning a gold medal, crowd on their feet, applauding and so on. And that has its place, it's useful. But it also can have a problem. Your brain rewards you as if you've already done it. You get the feeling now without the thing. And that can be exhausting. And so it drains your drive. So a better way of doing it is to visualize the obstacles that you're going to face. Instead, visualize the wall that you'll hit. How will it feel? What will you do to overcome it? If you can do that, then you make it more likely that you achieve what you want to achieve. Now, a really good way of thinking about this is to try and manifest not your dream scenario, but an average Tuesday. Not the trophy, a Tuesday. You've achieved the thing that you wanted to achieve, and now it's an ordinary Tuesday, and you're doing the work again. What does that day actually look like? So, in my case, I think it was a Thursday afternoon when I was playing golf, and I almost forgot to enjoy it. But now it makes it much easier for me to think about the goals and the way that I want to live. And this is because you can envy a result all day, but nobody envies the work that it took. So admire Novak Djokovic. Fine, I do. An astonishing person. But do you want to work for 30 years, for 4 hours a day on the same thing, never being home at weekends, never eating anything fun? Do you want that? You have to want the Tuesday, not just the result. One last thing. Thank your reality before you leave it. Thank your reality before you leave it. What am I talking about here? One trap that a lot of these manifestors fall into and it's everywhere in the manifesting world, is that people get so lost in the future that they start hating the present. Everything that's happened to you, good, bad, boring, brought you to this moment. And this moment contains everything you might still do. Gratitude isn't the opposite of ambition. It's more like what stops your vision from curdling into resentment. Don't hate the present. It's the only place any of this gets built. So, I'm about to leave you, but think about one thing you could state precisely. You don't have to share it, but think about one person it's worth telling before Monday. And then you've taken the first step on this path of manifestation for realists. Hope you found this interesting. I've been Stephen Locke. You can find all of my details at stephenlockecoaching.com. I wish you a brilliant day. And if you are working on something big, I'd love to know about it. Bye-bye.